Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's great to be here as always. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you had a great weekend at Bernie's. That said, this is the first opportunity I've had to sit down and actually record a video on this because I was out all weekend participating in our annual honey harvest. For those of you who don't follow, I'm a beekeeper on the side, and this weekend was solid work from start to finish. We got back late afternoon, slept basically till this morning. So exhausted. It was a great time though. I also now hold the high score for bee stings in a single sitting with our group. At 32, I'm immune to bee venom. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to discuss the fact that Joe Biden has resigned from his position as presumptive nominee of the Democrat Party on National Ice Cream Day. I actually had to look it up. I didn't believe it at first. Yes, it actually was. I'm convinced that he doesn't actually know that he has stepped down, or what do they say, stood down from this yet. We haven't actually seen the dude. So I don't actually believe that he knows this yet. I think the decision was made for him and they probably paid off his wife to keep her mouth shut. The abject turmoil that the DEI party is in right now, I find fascinating. And the reason why is because you're going to see in the coming weeks, I predict that you're going to see they're going to ordain a savior of democracy. By the way, we don't live in a democracy. We live in a representative republic. There's a huge difference. But they will claim that they are going to fight against the enemy of democracy by installing their savior of democracy, by subverting democracy, by disregarding the will of their constituents. and just putting somebody in there. So especially when we consider the system that is the DNC, I'll say it this way, is as entertaining as the RNC was to watch last week, I think the DNC is going to be on full watch because the DNC does not have a straight delegate system like the RNC does. Basically, on the Republican side of things, the people vote, and then that's tied to a certain percentage of the delegates, and then the delegates go and they name their votes as per the will of the people. That's not the way the DNC works. The DNC, the people get a similar system, but then they also have what are called super delegates. I'm not even kidding. That's the name of it. That's the technical term. And those people have extra sway. You think like a Hillary Clinton or a Barack Obama or, whatever, right? They have a stronger vote than your common rabble. The dichotomy. So after we hear a quick word from today's sponsor, I'm going to come back and give you my opinion on what I think is actually going down here. And I want to know what you guys think about that opinion in the comment section down below. Today's video is brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. They are my go-to stop for anything medical related. It doesn't matter whether you need bumps and bruises kit or whether you need real equipment like chest seals or a cat tourniquet or something like that. They have got a bunch of medical kits over there. Again, they are my go-to shop and they are great people. I've known Dietrich and the crew over there for going on like 10 years now. So they are definitely a place that you should check out if you're looking to augment your medical equipment needs. And they have a discount code for all of you who are VSO subscribers. You can find that information over on the affiliates page, and special thanks to Medical Gear Outfitters for making today's video possible. So if you're not paying attention, what went down this weekend is Joe puts out a statement, or if you prefer, somebody who works for Joe put out a statement saying that he was going to step aside in the nomination process so that somebody else can pick up the reins after he finishes his term. In that statement, he just basically gives a backhanded compliment to Kamala and says, yeah, she was great to work with. Does not endorse her. And then sometime after that, perceptible delay, we'll say, on a Sunday when the news cycle's a little bit slower, they say, oh yeah, we endorse Kamala Harris. Put the statement out, see what the reaction is, and then come back and say whether you're going to endorse her or not. Considering all things, I think it would have actually been better for her if Joe hadn't endorsed her. I think that was another backhanded thing that he did, because everybody knows that Joe is wildly unpopular at this point in time. Anything that he touches turns to shit. Kamala, in her response, says, I'm going to go out there and win this by myself, on my own merits. And that's code for, I don't need your help. I don't want your help. And I can do it by myself. The only thing about that is she also has the taint of Biden all over her, because she has been lying for the last several years that he is totally cogent and can handle himself. And we all knew that was crap from the get-go. That's why he campaigned from his basement. If somebody's your friend, they tell you the truth. They don't tell you what they want to hear, because when somebody tells you what they think that you want to hear, they are serving themselves. And that is basically the MO of the Democrat Party for the last several years. So a lot of people are pissed that they've been lied to about the fitness of Joe for all of these years. Now, anybody who has touched this situation and fed the narrative forward of, nah, he's fine, I don't know what you're talking about, has been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. They've got chocolate all over their fingers. They can't get it off. And they're like, oh, crap, what do we do? So they want to kick this dude out and try to install somebody new. And here's the crucial point. I think that they know that they are very likely to lose this election. So why do you let somebody like Joe take the L when you have an opportunity to let someone else take the L that is really unfit for office as well? But you have to remember that both of these people were throwaway candidates for the 2020 election. They assumed that they were going to lose the 2020 election. Let's go ahead and let Dirty Joe run for it. That way he can lose. And generally speaking, when people go to the general election and lose, they fade away into obscurity. Trump is really an anomaly, but a really good example is, when was the last time you heard anything out of Hillary Clinton? When was the last time you heard anything out of Mitt Romney or Paul Ryan or, I guess John McCain's dead, so that doesn't really count. But the Al Gores of the world generally don't make reemergences after failure. They fade into general life, and then they go apply themselves somewhere else where they might actually be wanted. Wow. That does not apply to Al Gore whatsoever. You get the point. There's a little bit of leeway there, though. If you were like the stated VP pick for somebody who failed at the general, you might be able to come back and run for president because you weren't really the pick. You were the add-on, the ad hoc, if you will. Nobody likes Kamala Harris. Not a single person likes Kamala Harris. Even my liberal friends hate Kamala Harris, okay? There are very, very few people who think that she's a good fit for that job. So if you've got an election where you're almost assured to lose at this point in time, why would you burn that loss on somebody who is pretty much too old to run again, is basically drooling in his oatmeal? Why not go ahead and get him out of there, hand the reins to somebody who you can actually benefit from losing, as in if Kamala Harris loses this time around in the general election as the presidential pick, then you don't have to worry about dealing with her again because she had her turn and she failed. So get her out of there. She's not a viable candidate. We don't have to deal with her in the future. And then in the next election, the 2028 election, well, then they have cleared the roles. The DEI candidate had been given her shot, and we can move on with life. But the candidacy of Kamala does carry with it some, what we'll say is low information voter enrichment, where they may get a stronger percentage of their base out there. If they've injected somebody new into the race, there might be a little bit more interest generated, and that might secure some of those seats. Because really, at this point, what I would say is the hopeful position of the DEI party would be to maintain one house of government. So what they're really concerned about is the down ticket. As the polling sits currently, they stand to lose the presidency and both houses of government, which would be an absolute disaster for them, provided that the Republicans actually do anything and they won't. But beside the point, if they can hold on to one house of government, then they can basically stonewall anything on the agenda that they feel like stonewalling. So I think that that's the real play here, is try to inject somebody new into the situation, even if she's wildly unpopular, because you kill all the birds with one stone. And really, all you need to do for the next 4 years is make Trump ineffective by stalling his agenda. They can come back in the 2028 election and be like, look what we did. We stood in the way of all these things, blah, 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 blah. You see what I'm saying? So I think that that is the play. Let her take the fall, not have to deal with her. And I'm going to end the video for YouTube here. And I've got a closing statement that I'll only publish on Rumble.